I have for us here a sin to avoid. It's a sin that we need to avoid is the fear of people. And so the sin of the religious leaders is so great in these chapters. It's getting ready to be worse. Jesus is going to pronounce woes on all these Pharisees and religious leaders, but they complicate their sin with fear of people. So they're not even having honest conversations with Jesus. They're not even able to have a true pursuit of truth because they are so politically minded. They are so concerned about what the people think and what their reactions are going to be. They are not bold proclaimers of truth. And this is what the religious leaders should be. They should be bold proclaimers of truth, no matter what the people think. That's what they should be. So if they did not think Jesus was the Messiah, if they did not think that John the Baptist was a prophet of God, which we'll see here in a little bit, they should have owned it. If they were really sincere in opposing Jesus, they could have actually had a conversation with Jesus and they could have got to the truth. But in reality, their motives are so twisted and they're so self focused that not only are we realize that their opposition to Jesus is not really that they're so religious. They're opposed to Jesus because of him threatening their exalted position or the way they think things should operate. It is really stinky. It is really twisted the way these religious leaders are acting. So let's look at what happens. Verse 23, when he entered the temple, so Jesus has returned back to the temple. He's come down, saw the fig tree that we talked about yesterday. So he's entered back into the temple, and the chief priests and the elders of the people came up to him as he was teaching and said, you're the one that kicked everybody out of the temple. And no doubt when they were hearing his teachings, they didn't really exactly like what he was saying. They said, by what authority are you doing these things? And who gave you this authority? Like, you're not a part of our class. You don't have authority over the temple. So why are you saying these things? And why are you doing what you're doing? Verse 24, Jesus answered, I will also ask you just one question. You've asked me a question, and I'll answer your question about who gave me this authority. And if you tell me the answer, I also will tell you by what authority I do these things. So Jesus is exposing more sin of the religious leaders. He's exposing the fact that they truly didn't care about truth. So verse 25, here's Jesus' question. The baptism of John, from where did it come? Did it come from heaven or man? So John was the great prophet that came before Jesus. He was the one that was preparing the way of the Lord. So he's saying, the baptism that John did it come from heaven, or is it just a human creation? And so the religious leaders were discussing amongst themselves, and they said, oh boy, I said, if we say from heaven, Jesus is really putting us in a pickle here. If we say that John's baptism came from heaven, Jesus will ask us, why then did you not believe him? Because if he's truly from heaven, then you should have believed him. But we can't really let everybody know that we didn't believe that John the Baptist was truly from God. Because verse 26, he says, if we tell them what we really think from man, we are afraid of the crowd, this people pleasing. So this whole idea of trying to manipulate the crowd and manipulate the people, it just makes the religious leaders' sin even worse. So they said, well, we can't even tell them what we really think because we're afraid of the crowd, for they all hold that John was a prophet. So they answered Jesus, we don't know. And because of that, Jesus said to them, neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things. You will not be able to get to truth if you are not honest with yourselves and if you are not willing to believe the truth no matter what everybody else says. We've got to hold to the truth no matter what. Here's my journal entry for today. The scriptural insight, it doesn't matter what people think. What is true? Let's go for it. Let's have an honest conversation. The prayer may be a prayer of confession. Father, I'm afraid of what people think about blank. What is it that you are afraid what people think about a particular thing? And then the sin to avoid is this people-pleasing attitude. I will not worry about people. I will not worry about what they think. I will worry about what God says, and I will worry about what is true. And I want to boldly hold to it and embrace the truths of Scripture no matter what other people say. Pray that's been a blessing to you. I'll see you in the next video.